God.
And I think we are live. Hello and welcome to a very special edition of Books and Beer with myself and Steve Moore. There he is, back again. Excited to see you, man. When was the last time we were on Facebook Live together? Or one of these live broadcasts. It's been a few months, hasn't it?
It seems about 10 years, but it was probably just a few months.
Yeah, I think it was the end of last year, something like that. But
I remember.
It's great to see you. You're looking well anyway.
You too, mate. Thank you. I don't feel it, but there you go.
And we're here for a special reason today, aren't we? Not just for the chit chat, although that's good too.
Not just for breakfast beers.
Yes. Oh, yeah. Most importantly, let's do this. Here we go. Well,
here's everybody.
Yeah, because you're in Seattle, aren't you, or the Northwest?
Yeah. Seattle. It's 8:00 in the morning, and it's the perfect time for a cerveza. Cheers.
Cerveza. Cheers, man. And cheers if you are listening. We're streaming this live via my Facebook page, via Steve's Hiram Kane group, and on my YouTube as well. So say hello in the comments. Tell us where you are tuning in from, what page, what group, what country, that sort of thing. And we'll give you a shout out. And actually there's things to win in this broadcast as well.
Things to win, things to gather and collect.
Yes. I'm keeping this cup a little bit hidden now because it gives away the top surprise. Yeah. I think we just need to go ahead and talk about that. Do you want to do that honorary?
I forgot why we're here. Why are we here? Well, yes, Luke and I have a big announcement that we've been saving up for quite a while now. Some of you will probably have worked out that we have been working together on a top secret series that Luke is covering up on his
I know.
But it's with great pleasure that Luke and I want to announce the very exciting announcement of our new series, which is the Kayla Stone Vigilante Thriller series. I think I've got it right.
You have indeed. And here is the incredible cover.
Oh, yes.
And what is more exciting than that is that this first book, this book 0 of the series, is out now and free for a very, very limited time. Yeah. Where is the link? There it is.
There you go. It looks good. The cover looks good. We're very proud of this story. It's co-written. We both worked very hard on this. We know our readers. We share many readers, and we are so confident that you guys are going to really enjoy this book. It's relentless. It's action from start to finish. Don't know if you could put the cover up again, Luke.
Yeah,
just mention. So in the cover, you can see that building, and that is the gateway to India in Mumbai. Luke and I have both been there, which is why this is a good setting for us. We think you guys are really going to enjoy this book. So as Luke said, today and for a few days only, we're not sure exactly, we're going to give it away to anybody who wants to claim it from that link.
That's it.
Limited numbers, but we're feeling pretty generous about this, but there will be a limit. So
yeah, I think we'll probably limit on time rather than numbers, won't we? So it will be like 2 weeks or 3 weeks or whatever, as opposed to 500 or something. But yeah, so get over to that sooner rather than later is what I'm saying. Get over to that link sooner rather than later and get your copy downloaded. It's quite a short read as well, isn't it? We've tried to make this introduction to the series really like pin sharp, so you're straight in there, action packed, and you could probably read it in what, 2 hours, an hour and a half, something like that.
Yeah, I think an hour probably. It's I think I've forgotten how many pages it is, but it's a really fast read, and even if it took 2 hours, you fly through it because it's action packed. It's Luke and I at our very best, I would say.
I hope so. I'm really, really pleased and confident with it. Let's jump over to the comments really quickly and say hello to everyone tuning in. We'll come back in. We'll talk through the blurb, and we'll sort of dive into the story a little bit more later on, and we'll tell you how you can win a couple of interesting things related to the book in a moment. Right. Oh, we've got a load of people on there. Fiona, great to see you. Hello, how are you?
Hi, Fiona.
Alison, hi Alison, how are you doing? Oh, this one says Facebook user. Good morning, gents.
Facebook user.
Yeah, there's a thing on I've forgotten how to speak.
never know.
In the description of the video, there's a little thing you have to press that says "Give my permission to StreamYard to show my name," and if you press that, it will tell us who you are. Or you could just write another comment saying I'm so and so.
User 801. Who are you?
Or maybe that's actually their name. First name Facebook, second name user. Fiona, and my friend Ian on here as well. Hello from Devon. Fantastic,
Hello,
fantastic. Anyone else? Anyone else on the beers today, or is it just Steve and myself? Let us know.
We have another Facebook user at the bottom.
Yeah, Facebook user says hi. Another.
Hi. Oh, Jim. Hey, Jim.
Ah, Jim. Hi.
Jim's down the road from me, I think, in Oregon.
Oh right. Fantastic.
Yeah.
So I'm going to read the blurb for this first of all, because I think that gives a real good taste of the story, and I'll put the cover back on whilst I'm doing that, so that it's a bit more attractive to look at than you and I, Steve. And yeah, remember that's the link where you need to go that's on the screen now, and there's a good reason for you to click that and have that ready, because I'll tell you about that in a moment. This is what it's all about. Justice is her beat. Her name is Kayla Stone. She is the Liberator. Life is cheap in the impenetrable shadows of Mumbai's notorious underworld. Lives are bought and sold here. Fear is the ultimate currency. Kayla Stone expected India to be life-changing, but not like this. When a young child is snatched right in front of her eyes, Kayla decides it's time to make a stand. It's a decision she was born to make. But with her life on the line in a foreign land and danger always close at hand, can she find the child before it's too late? New from Amazon bestsellers Stephen Moore and Luke Richardson's Set Him Free is the ferocious new starter to the much anticipated Kayla Stone vigilante thriller series. Download your copy now. And that is exactly what you need to be doing, downloading your copy right now.
I would buy that, or I would download that. That sounds really good. Did we write that blurb? Wow.
Yeah, it's come out really nicely, hasn't it? Yeah. So, over the course of the broadcast today, we've got several things to give away. Talk us through these, Steve, whilst I hold them up. I'll be sort of like the glamorous assistant, and you can describe them.
Debbie McGee, I'll be your Paul Daniels.
Yeah.
So these are some prizes we're offering up. Those are postcards with the cover of Set Him Free on, which Luke is so beautifully demonstrating there.
Yeah.
I think we have 10 of those.
I think it's about 10, yeah.
8 or 10. Luke's going to announce a competition shortly that you can claim one of those. We'll write a postcard to you and send it and post it to you.
Mm-hmm.
So, Luke, remind us and me how these guys can win one of those signed cover postcards.
Slick, mate. Slick. I enjoyed that. Right. To get one of these postcards, what you need to do is you need to share. I mean, you'll be helping us as well, so that's a big thing. You need to share the link that is on the screen now. Take a screenshot of it and email it over to Steve or myself, and then you'll be entered into a giant metaphorical hat, and we'll pick out, and the 10 winners will get one of these sent to them in the next few days. So you have to share it on your Facebook or your Twitter or your Instagram or a Facebook group that you're part of, or even share it to a friend, email it to them, whatever. Share it in some way to help us get the word about this book we're really proud of out into the world a little bit further. And if you do that, send the screenshot. I'll put my email address on the screen, in fact, if you don't know it. Or you could do it via direct message. Get it in touch with get it over to Steve or myself, and we will. There it is. Get it over to Steve or myself at some point.
Thank you in advance to anybody who shares it.
Yes,
because that really does help us. We can reach fairly distant with our social media, but the more the better. So anyone else who can share it, if you think a friend or a family member would enjoy the book for free, please share it and spread the word. And we are very grateful.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And prize number 2 is one of these cups. I'm drinking from one. You're going to have the other one that I haven't had my mouth around. You'll be pleased to know. And it has, again, the cover and the cover from the other books in the series, the upcoming books in the series, which we'll talk about a little bit later as well. And what I think we'll do is we'll pick one of the people who has been entered into the first competition and send that over to them as well. So by sharing it for us, you get 2 chances to win.
Yeah, I also have one of those mugs arriving to me here in the US, but I haven't received it yet. But so I'll be offering another one up of those as well. So
Excellent. So
we
could do one US winner and one UK winner, couldn't we, and send them separately
we'll
in that way.
We hate to leave out the rest of the world, but it's just logistically impossible to send some things, let's say, to Antarctica.
India as an example.
Okay, some other guys in the comments, Luke.
Yes, let's have a look.
Jerry, hi Jerry. He's going to have a pilsner for us later. Good man.
Oh, fantastic! Oh, let me put that on the screen. Oh, fantastic.
And Mark Fern.
Hi, got it both. Thanks, brilliant, Mark. That's great. Thank you for sharing that. And Fiona says she shared it already. Brilliant. You are entered into the draw, Fiona. It'd be great to send one of these over to you. Alison says she's having a coffee because she's got a COVID jab tomorrow morning. Good luck with that. I hope it's great. Facebook user says they're not sure why their profile isn't showing.
Is that still you, Jim?
I think that's probably still Jim, yeah. And Ian Bond is on the squash, which is great. Oh, and Mark Fern says he's sharing it to Bookmark, which is great. So we've got 2 shares in there already. 2 people entered into the competition. If we get more than 10, obviously we'll pick them at random. So don't feel that you can't enter.
Yeah. and anyway, I can order more of those cards at any time. So yeah, the more shares, the better. And you never know what we might come up with.
Absolutely.
This is Luke and I's first collaborative series, and we're going to go very large with it. We're hoping it's going to become very, very big for us. So there might be more merchandise down the line.
Absolutely. I like these sorts of things.
And also, we take requests. We can order almost anything with stuff for this series. So, if you really, really love Kayla Stone, we can work out some things down the line. T-shirts, posters,
Brilliant. That's it, isn't it? Because so often now reading digitally, all these sorts of things, all these digital things which are brilliant, but actually having something physical is so nice, isn't it? Having like a physical thing from a book or from whatever. So
yeah, of course. I should tell you guys we're going to talk about the next book in this series, or the first main book. That's coming very soon, which we mention later. But everything will be available in paperback and audio down the line. Unfortunately, this first novella won't be a paperback because it's just literally too small for printing, too short for printing. But everything else will be available in all formats soon, very soon.
That's it. Just as an idea, whilst we talk about it, we could always put this in the back of the first book in the paperback version as a bonus for people that really want that. Thank you, Alison says she's shared. Oh, Jim on the comments says, I'm wondering why I can't share this. We don't mean the video, Jim. What we want you to share is that link, lukerichardsonauthor.com/set him free. You can share the video if you want, but I think because it's a closed group, the thing about you can't always share it because of the private group. But if you share that link, that's what we're really looking for. So that will be amazing. Thank you. So, who's Kayla then? Kayla Stone is our protagonist, our leading lady. What is it, Steve, that because she came from one of your books originally, didn't she? So let's. Yeah.
This technically is a spin-off of the spin-off of my my Hiram Cain series. Most of you guys will have hopefully read one of my Hiram Cain stories, and if you have read The Shadow of Kailash, you'll remember that there was a terrible incident with some human trafficking of some people in India and then on into Tibet. Now, you'll remember that Hiram Cain and his partner in crime, Alexandria Ridley, they helped liberate a few of the. See what I did there?
I like that.
A few of the victims of that crime syndicate up there. Now, one of those girls was Kayla, and I've just felt that she had such potential to be a really good character by herself. So Luke and I chatted about it, and we decided to bring her to life in our own series, and we're glad we did because, in fact, this series is going to be so good. If I can say, Luke, we haven't discussed this, but I think we can say that the first draft of all the series, all three main books, are written.
Mm-hmm.
So they are going to be coming very soon. And we just can't wait for you guys to get hold of it, because it's going to be, I'm not going to say our best stuff, but together we've put together a great series with a really cool, strong, powerful character.
Absolutely. They're really, I think these books are going to be quite sharp. They're going to sort of be quite high tempo, you know, they're all those sorts of things. Kayla's very hard, isn't she? She's an absolute powerhouse in the respects that she, you know, is quite a confident and yeah, she's going to be she's a really cool person to write, and I hope you'll enjoy. Oh, what's going on there? And I hope you'll enjoy reading her as well. Oh, Steve's messing around with his lighting.
It's got so dark. Sorry.
Yeah, it was. I think it's because you're by the window as well, which is light sort of behind you.
Yeah, it's so gloomy here today.
Oh, Jim says he's shared that. Thank you, Jim. That's great. You'll be entered into the hat, the metaphorical hat. And Anja says the novella as a bonus after the first novel is a brilliant idea. So I think we'll have to do that for fans of paper, for fans of reading on paper. So awesome. Mumbai then. Beautiful, brilliant city. And when we talked about doing this novella, it just sort of both occurred to us almost at the same time, didn't it, that we should write a book there? Why were you so sort of, yes, let's do it in Mumbai? What about that city to you has got such an appeal?
Well, there are a couple of reasons. Obviously, because this links from a previous book, that really needed to take place somewhere in northwest India, because that's a link to the previous Hiram Cain story. But even if it wasn't that, I would have loved to have written a novel in Mumbai, because you and I, we've both been there separately. I've been a couple of times. It's a crazy, fun, amazing city with great people. And you'll agree, Luke, one of our favorite books that we have ever read, in fact, I think it is the best book I've ever read, I think you probably agree, is a book called Shantaram by Gregory David Roberts.
That's it, yeah.
Gregory David Roberts. And that's set in Mumbai. And that is such an amazing story. And we've brought some elements of that story into our story, which you guys will read about soon enough, hopefully today.
Yeah, I agree with you on everything that you've said, actually. Mumbai is just such a cool and crazy and exciting place. I remember I visited for the first time. It was my first real trip to Asia. And I think, in a way, visiting Mumbai as the first trip to Asia, in a way, is a mistake, because it is so different to the UK and so different to Europe. And I remember standing there and just being like shocked. Like, culture shock is a real thing. And I just felt so lost. And after about a few hours, I was fine. But just that initial impact of landing and just everything is so different was just like.
And we have a scene with Kayla arriving into Mumbai, and it's almost the same experience. We've written that with our own experiences in mind. It's a short story. It's a novella. I think 12,000 words, but you could write 100,000 words on that moment of arrival into India, because it is just so insane and intense. But it's brilliant. It's amazing. And if you can get through those first couple of hours in Mumbai and then go on, then you can pretty much do anything, I think.
That's what I mean. It was the craziest, and I've never visited somewhere that's had that reaction on myself since. And I don't imagine I ever will. And in a way that was beautiful, because it was just like, bang, you're in it. Yeah. There's you're there. And you mentioned Shantaram. Gregory David Roberts does that so well, doesn't he? Because he's, because he has a very similar scene when his protagonist arrives in Mumbai for the first time, and he's feeling the same, but with the additional stress of the fact that he's fleeing something. So he's. Yeah, brilliant book, and I think it definitely inspired this book, and I think it inspired some of my other books. And I know, actually, I think you probably would say that as well, Steve, in some of your writing, in the way that you it's got a very right sense of morality, hasn't it? So Shantaram, you know, and I think you get that in your books. The bad
Yeah,
guys are always vanquished to an extent, and the
yeah.
good guys are always, yeah. I think that's
It's
something that I see in your writing.
yeah, like Luke and I we're very proud of our books, but I think we both agree that if we could claim another book that we had written, I would be. I mean, Shantaram is so good. That is my book recommendation of the day and forever because
Oh
it's good.
yeah,
And just as a heads up, in the back of this Set Him Free novella, there is a link to Shantaram that you can get on Amazon.
mm.
If and I don't know how much it costs, but take a chance on it. It's about this thick.
Yeah,
It's amazing. It's brilliant storytelling, and actually, it's kind of a true story. But he claimed it as a novel because if he didn't, you know, that he'd be risking his life. So he had to make it into a novel. But it's basically a true story and one of the greatest stories. I mean, amazing, just a crazy story. But anyway, not as good as
yeah.
Al, obviously, but
I
very.
do think there's scope actually for us to do a separate Facebook Live at some point about it because it's been so sort of central to our books and our travels and the things that we love. You know, I think we could certainly have an hour's conversation, which you know you may be interested
Only we had
listening at
a
home.
podcast idea,
Yeah, that's it.
which we never got around to doing.
Which we started,
We're so
and there
busy.
you go. There you go.
Let's get back to that one day.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. If you have read Shantaram or heard of it, pop a yes in the comments or a no if you haven't. If you've read it, what did you think? Let us know. As a reminder, if you've just joined us, we are talking today about our new book. In fact, I'll put the thing up. Where is it? Our new book, Set Him Free, the introduction novella to the Kayla Stone series, mine and Steve's series that we've been working on sort of in the background for a couple of years now.
Yeah.
And for a very limited time, you can read it for free. There's the link on the screen. Also, we're giving away postcards with the cover on and a mug with the cover on, which is really exciting. And to do that, to win those, all you need to do is share the link. LukeRichardsonAuthor.com/set him free in Facebook or YouTube or WhatsApp or whatever. Share it with someone, screenshot it, send it to my email or Steve's email or direct message, and we'll enter you into the prize draw to be drawn at some point in the future.
Great. Those mugs look great, and the postcards, and as often happens because of where I often am in the world, everybody gets to see this stuff before I do.
Yeah. I know.
The US Postal Service right now is pretty terrible, so I couldn't even order postcards to myself. And the mugs have been on order now like a couple of weeks, and they still haven't arrived. So
they'll get there, and then
we can. I'll probably have left by the time they get here because I'm going back in a couple of weeks.
Right. Yeah, that's true. That's true. Well, hopefully they'll catch up with you at some point in the future.
They're very cool.
Mm.
Yeah, so guys, don't forget this is our gift to you because you're our beloved fans and readers. I always feel a bit weird saying fans, but if you like our book, I suppose you are fans of our writing. And we would love as many of you as possible to get hold of a free copy of this this series opener. So as Luke said, limited time for it. Probably not limited numbers, but limited time. Probably a couple of weeks. The more, the better. And we would love it if you would consider this an advanced copy, meaning once you've read it, as you all know, reviews are so important for the readers as well, if not more than the authors. Reviews are important for the authors because it helps people find our books, but it also helps the reader. If you're looking at a book on Amazon, for example, and you're not sure about whether you should spend your money on it, and then it's got loads of reviews, it can inform your buying choice. So you can buy with more confidence if it's a book that you're going to like. So, reviews are so important. So if you enjoy this book, we would love it if you could pop over to Amazon, BookBub, or Goodreads and shove down your honest thoughts. Bad reviews are as useful as good reviews. If you didn't like it, just be honest. But we think you're going to like it. So
absolutely. It really does make such a difference, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Just to have that couple of words, whatever star you want, more than a couple of stars, hopefully. But
Yeah.
yeah, it does.
Yeah. If you really hate it, you might just skip the review. But if you think anything above a 3 is we'd appreciate it.
To be fair, it's completely. The style of it is very similar to the books that we've already done, isn't it? It's page turning, it's fast paced, it's a destination thriller, it's all of the things that I think I love about the books that you write, Steve, and it's the things that I love about reading my own books and writing my own books. So I think we'll be I think you'll have a pleasant sort of read here. I really think you'll enjoy it.
It will not be a waste of an hour of your time.
Absolutely. And in the back of the book is a pre-order link to book 1 of the series, which is called Set You Free and set in Sydney. So when you finish this, if you would like to go on and read the next one, it's not ready just yet. It will be a few weeks, not a massive length of time, but a few weeks. But if you'd like to get that sort of on the day of release, we recommend putting a pre-order straight in there so that it gets to your Kindle on that day.
Right, and because we're doing a special launch discount price, just I think for like 3 or 4 days or something. And remind me, Luke, of the date of when's book 1 going live?
We have said provisionally the 30th of April.
Okay. Well, we can do that. Yeah, it'll be done. It'll be ready.
So that's the hope. That's the plan. But also, once you've got your pre-order and it's there, if for any reason that gets changed earlier or later, you don't, that still works. That still stays in the system.
Yeah,
so
and I think it's going to be almost something like a 40% discount for launch.
Oh, right. Wow. That's a lot.
I think so. Yeah, I think so let's assume it's on time, which it will be. That's 30th of April. If you pre-order it now or any time before then, you'll get it at the discount price. I think of.
I might have a look on the.
Yeah, I might. I think it's something like $2.99, but that will only be for a very limited time, and then maybe for a few days. But then it will go up to full price of $4.99 or £3.99. So the onus is on you to pre-order that sooner rather than later, so you can get that discount.
Always good to do. So you've got that sort of ready and in the bank. Alison says, and thank you, Alison. There.
That's easy for you to say.
She's shared it. She says she's shared. It's quite a difficult phrase. She says she's shared on the British Crime Fiction Group and the Book Club Kindle and Book Club group. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that.
Thank you. And
so funnily enough, go on, Steve.
I think Jim, Facebook user Mott's, has just said, we've got your back, gents. I review everything I read.
Oh, thanks so much.
Yeah, I appreciate that. And I think it's important. I do too. I actually review everything I buy on Amazon, not just books. Because, this is a business. And that is just for the sake of a couple of minutes, let's be honest. It takes about 1 minute to go on Amazon and review a book. You don't have to write a big, long prose. It can just be, I recommend this book, love this story, anything. Just 1-2 words, a sentence or two, or if you want, you can write 2 or 3 words, 2 or 3 sentences. The review and the rating is as important as what you write. So, I review everything, and I hope you guys can review too, because especially since we're giving this one away, we would love if you could repay that generosity with your honest thoughts on as many places as you can. Amazon is obviously the most preferred. BookBub is really good too, and Goodreads. They all help.
Absolutely. Yeah. Too right. And obviously for those that if you're sharing that, it'll be entered into the competition that we're working at the moment. We're not allowed to do competitions around reviews, so we're very careful with that. That's in the rules. So we're doing it around you sharing this with people that you know, groups that you're in, those sorts of things. So Set You Free is on Amazon for $2.99 currently, and it will go up after release. So if you get that pre-ordered ASAP, you can lock in that price. You can guarantee that price, and it will be delivered as soon as as soon as you can. And that's set in Sydney, which was really interesting because I've never been to Sydney, but you've lived there for quite some time, Steve, haven't you? You spent
Yeah, I lived there
quite a
for
while
6
there.
months a long time ago in, well, yeah, 2000, no, hold on, 1994.
Wow.
Yeah, Luke was about one. Yeah, I lived in Sydney in a place called Coogee Beach, which is just south of Sydney Harbour. I think 3 towns south. It's about, as the crow flies, it's about a mile or two from Sydney Harbour. And just north of Coogee is Bondi, which is obviously very famous. So Kayla, our heroine from this series, is from Bondi Beach. She lives in Bondi. That's her hometown. So it's a really cool place to have her based out of. She's a bit of a beach bomber, surfy type girl, young woman, let's say, and she's kind of quiet, but she's tough. She's physically tough because she's a surfer. She grew up on the beach in Sydney, like anyone from the east coast of Australia. They grew up on the beach, which is beautiful. So if anyone's been to Sydney, let us know, because I love to chat about that. I had a good time there way back when I was a young backpacker myself, in the mid '90s, believe it or not. So great place for her to have been to have grown up from a character point of view, but as we say, Sydney's a very shiny, glamorous, cosmopolitan city, but every city, as we all know, has got its dark secrets.
Absolutely, and that's what that book's all about, really, isn't it? Sort of revealing those.
Yeah, it is.
Revealing those dark
underbelly of places that you never see unless you're involved in that. And Kayla finds herself right in the middle of it. But yeah, let us know if you've ever been to Sydney, or if you'd like to go. It's a great, beautiful city, and I highly recommend it.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's something that I really like exploring in books, is that sort of two sides of a place. Do you know what I mean? In my writing, is because you do, when you go somewhere for the first time, you just see that sort of shiny facade of it, don't you? The clean buildings and the nice streets. Absolutely. But then after you've been there a little while or done a bit of research about a place, you do see that there are always, at whatever place it might be, there's always some dark side. I suppose that's the same as people, really, isn't it? There's always some dark side there, or something.
Yeah, absolutely, there is. You just, most of us are glad we don't come across that. But as you know, your characters in your Leo and Alyssa series, they actively seek that out because that's their job. They kind of need to go into those shadows and find those, and so that's their choice. They want to help people. Hiram Caine, he doesn't want to, but he ends up there anyway, which is kind of how I am. Like, I don't want to find that hard, dirty, dangerous stuff, but somehow finds me. And this is what happens with Kayla. She's reluctant. Experiences have made her this. We've called her the Liberator. That's a giveaway as to what her character is. She wants to help people. She's out to do good in the world. So we can all relate to her. We all want to do the stuff she does, but we're not brave enough. We don't stand up and do enough. But Kayla's going to be a great role model, let's say, even a hero. And I just have to say, magic does exist, because I had an empty glass, and as if by magic, it's now full again.
Oh man, I've just finished mine, almost. I might have to just leave you talking for a minute whilst I run downstairs to the fridge.
You can do that. And before I forget, I'd like to 2 quick announcements, Luke, if you don't mind. It's
not at all.
My mum's birthday today, so I'd like to quick shout out to my mum. I love you. Happy birthday. And also, yesterday was my 10th anniversary with Leslie of meeting on Paddy's Day, and 5 years since we got married. So to Leslie, thanks for everything, and thanks for that beer that magically appeared. I trained her well. No, I'm just kidding.
Amazing. That 10 years, wow, incredible.
I know, crazy. I gave myself 10 minutes, and then suddenly it's 10 years.
That's it.
Read into that. Never mind. Moving on.
No problem with that at all. If you've just joined us, welcome. We're doing a special broadcast, and Steve's just alluded to why it couldn't happen yesterday, because it was his 10th wedding anniversary. And to be fair, like, you don't want to spend your 10th wedding anniversary hanging out online with me talking about
I love
books.
you,
Like,
mate. No.
I know, I do as well. But when I've been married for 10 years, I think I'll have more pressing matters to do than than these sorts of conversations. But anyway, there you go. We're doing it today for that reason, and we've released our novella for the series. There's the cover. You can win one of these, as I've said, and I'm going to keep repeating it because I know full well that people drop in and out of these videos the whole time. So if you've just joined us, if you've just joined us, the book is out now. There's the link on the screen for you to download it for free for a limited time only. If you share that link and then send the screenshot or just tell us about that, we'll send you a postcard, or we've got 10 postcards. We'll send 10 out, and you'll be into the draw to win one of these amazing cups with all the covers on. You can see, there we go. There's the one. There's Set Him Free. There's Set You Free, which is the Sydney one, and then we've got Set Them Free and Set Me Free. You see,
Ooh,
nice creative titles. We've sort of followed the theme all the way through, which I love.
Give a quick shout out to my buddy David Behrens for those amazing covers, because Dave's a great guy, and most of you know Dave and I have a series as well. But Dave's also my cover guy, so Dave's done a great job putting those covers together. So thank you, Dave, for that.
Yeah, he really does. And yeah, happy St. Patrick's Day. I know Fiona's in Ireland at the moment. I've just seen she's put a comment up. Where is it?
I think Facebook user at 8:35. I think that's probably my mum. So,
there.
Mum, happy birthday. I love you.
Yeah.
We all love you.
It confused me when you're saying 8:35 because it's obviously a bit later
it's going my 8:35. That'll be for you.
That's it. No, it sounds really, really good. So we've got Set You Free as the next one, and then we've also got the 2 books following that, and we're planning to release them in quite quick succession. Can you give us a hint, Steve, about the books that will follow?
Nothing like throwing me under the bus. Well, Set You Free was originally the first story, and that's Kayla. Anyone who knows the Kane backstory will know of Alexandria Ridley, and there's another series coming with Alexandria Ridley, which takes place before this series, but sadly that series is moving slower, so that's going to come a bit later. But Kayla ends up coming home to Sydney after her adventures with Alex Ridley in Asia. I'm not going to say too much about that series, and it's literally as she touches down in Sydney, she sees something that takes her all back and shocks her to her core, and then she realizes she has to do something because nobody else is doing something. And the you part of Set You Free is obviously the focus of the story. I think we can say it's a kid who ends up, something terrible happens to this kid. So it sparks Kayla's personality into doing something. So obviously she's trying to set that kid free from the trouble that he's in.
She's got a really strong sense of right and wrong, hasn't she? Of morality. She's really that's one of her most important things about her. And one of the things I love about Kayla is that she also has quite a sensitive side. She's very tough physically. Not necessarily she looks tough, but she doesn't take rubbish. She stands up for herself. But she's also, there is something about her that's a little bit lost. And I love characters like that as a writer.
Yeah, she's vulnerable.
Yeah.
The problem is she doesn't really know why. And without saying too much, this gets revealed later in the series in what I would say is a pretty shocking set of things happen to her throughout her life that we don't really learn about until, and she doesn't know until later, but it all becomes clear why she's like she is, who she is, and who she was always destined to become.
Yeah, you're absolutely right.
Yeah.
And it's interesting to do that because with my Leo and Alyssa series, I've written them book at a time, and I think you've done that with your Hiram Kane series, haven't you? You do one, release it, move on to the next. Whereas this, for me, it's been a first because we've sort of thought about the series as a whole sort of arc, haven't we? And that's not to say you couldn't read any one of them on its own. You could read any one of them in any order, but there's clearly a bigger story, isn't there, beyond each one of the books?
Yeah, as writers, we talk about story arcs, character arcs, what happens from point A of book 1 to point B at the end of book 10, let's say. And we call that a character arc. So the character goes through this journey, emotional, physical journey. And we focused very much on that in this series. So at the moment, it's this 4-book, 3 main books and this novella. But we totally are thinking about extending that series depending if people like it well enough. But the character arc is kind of completed by the end of book 3. That doesn't mean there can't be another character arc. But so she goes through this huge emotional journey, which obviously it's a thriller series. So it's highs and lows, many lows, tough times. But she's, as Alison says, sounds like a strong character. She's going to need to. She's going to need to be a strong character. Who's Facebook user at 840 or 340?
Hi, Steve. Hi, Luke. Yeah, say you're not coming up as your name for one reason or another. Something to do with StreamYard's. You've got to. I don't know why. Sometimes it does that, doesn't it? But there's a button you can press in the comment that follows this video that often you can.
Let's just type who you are, so we can say hello to you. I'm talking to you, Facebook user 840. Who are you?
840. 2 minutes ago, they've gone. Hi, Luke. Hi, Steve. I'm off. I love it. No, but you're absolutely right, and I think that's a real great thing of these books is that there is clearly that movement from one to the other. They clearly, each one is a story on its own right, but there's clearly sort of a movement. And I work really hard with that in my books, and I know you do as well, that they're not just like, you know, another off the production line thriller about the same characters. It's not rinse and repeat, is it? There's some real sort of emotional, spiritual development that goes on in those characters over the course of time.
And you definitely work hard at that. You're great at that in your Leo and Alyssa stories. I try very hard with that too, because it's great to read the action and the locations, but if there's no like inner conflict with the character, the morality of what she's doing or what he should or shouldn't be doing, then there's nothing to really grasp onto emotionally. And I think a great story really grabs you by the cojones and by the heartstrings and the emotions. And that's why Shantaram is such an amazing book, because the main character it's like a biography almost. The main character, he's not called Gregory David Roberts in the story, but I mean, he's a bad guy. He's a career criminal, but from the first minute in Shantaram, you are rooting for that guy because he's a good soul. In fact, his name, Lim Baba, is I think it translates in Hindi as great soul.
But interestingly, you never actually know his real name, because he says in the first scene, I was using a fake name and my fake name is this.
Yeah.
But he never tells you what his real name is, which sort of alludes to the idea that the author's doing a pseudo-realistic thing. But very clever, very clever.
Yeah. Just genius, absolute genius. I love that book. I've read that book probably 6 or 7 times, and I cried 6 or 7 times. It's amazing. And Alison, I just have to say, is looking forward to Hiram's next book. Well, you don't have to wait very long. I'm not going to talk about that today, but I can guarantee it's next week. Finally.
I can guarantee it's next week.
I can guarantee it.
I love it. No, that's great. You were churning the books out one after another. But going back to what you were just talking about in terms of sort of emotional resonance and things meaning something, which to me as a writer is very important. I was having this conversation with myself, as we always do as being writers, earlier today with the book I'm writing at the moment, Riga, the next Leo and Alyssa book. I'd planned for there to be this amazing car chase right in the middle. And then over the course of the writing, the first half of the book, I've changed the story slightly, which essentially makes this car chase obsolete. It doesn't need to be there for the story. And I sat there today and was like, I really want that, because I love the idea of them having this car chase through like the ancient streets of the city and bullets pinging off like, ancient architecture and all these sorts of things. But it's not necessary. And I was like, what should I do? And I just put a note in to say, maybe write this later. But I'm really not sure as to whether, because if it doesn't mean anything, what as a reader, is the reader just going to go, oh, that's pointless then? You're showing off,
In, in the writer world, there's a saying that you guys probably know. It's called "kill your darlings," and it's Luke obviously loves that scene he's talking about, and it's probably a brilliant chase action scene. But if it doesn't move the story forward, and if it doesn't actually mean anything to the bigger story, that's what "kill your darlings" is. You just delete it out of the story.
That's it.
And maybe save that scene for when it's more appropriate. So it's a hard thing to do, because we love obviously we back ourselves, we back our writing ability. But you're right, if it's not in there, if it doesn't need to be in there, it probably shouldn't be in there. That's very hard to do though, and I don't think I'm very good at it. I leave a lot of scenes in that I would just like writing. So
but that's it, and that's something we've worked really hard at with this series, to make it very tight, to make it very page turning, to give you as the reader like your total bang for your buck, sort of really sort of glue you to those pages. That's certainly our idea.
Yeah.
Right, if you've just joined us, welcome. This is a special edition of Books and Beer with me and Steve Moore. We are giving away at the moment this book. There we are. It's 8 a.m. or 8. It's coming up to 9 where Steve is. We're going to talk for about another 10 minutes or so. So we won't go. I know you've got quite a lot on today, Steve. There's the cover. There's the cover of our brand new book that is out today and you can get for free. It's a very quick read, a novella to start off our brand new Kayla Stone vigilante thriller. Shall I read the blurb again, Steve?
Yeah. Also, just mention that in the cover you can see. Put the cover back up.
Yep.
Behind Kayla's legs, there is the gateway to India, and that's the gateway to India you can see in the main picture there.
Let me take that.
Luke and I have both been to Mumbai a couple of times, and the gateway to India is a very amazing area of Mumbai. Actually, in one of those places, a lot of people will never go to India, but if you ever get a chance to go, I would highly recommend it. Mumbai is a great city, very cosmopolitan, gritty but cool. So just if you're wondering what that image is in the background there, that's the Gateway to India monument in Colaba in the south of Mumbai.
Yeah, it's a really interesting place because that's very touristy, isn't it? But you just sort of go round the corner and it changes completely. It's you've got sort of the slums that sprawl everywhere. There's loads of people sort of crammed into all these places, market stalls and traffic and all sorts. It's a real assault on the senses, isn't it?
If I may, just what I try to do in my writing, and I know you do too, is it's not just visually. Readers imagine what something looks like, but India is literally an assault on all the senses. It's the smells, the noise, the it's just everything. And I think we've done a really good job of putting that into this story. It's almost like a 5-6 dimensional story. If you close your eyes, you probably can smell what Kayla is smelling. You can hear the chaos of India. It's the car horns. It's the street hawkers. It's organized madness, and I absolutely love it. And I think you do too, Luke.
But it's also an emotional place to go, isn't it? Because it has a real emotional reaction with anyone who goes there. I think you can sort of tell, because it makes you it's hard to explain. It makes you sort of very grateful of your own stability in your life, and very, because you've got such extremes of wealth and poverty, and then you're sort of there. Bumbling on through as a tourist, and the people that everyone you meet, in my experience of being there, is so welcoming to you just as a person walking past. There's not that negativity towards you being, towards you just wandering on through their lives and just
And the
there
thing
to see.
is, a juxtaposition is one of my favorite words, but
Mm.
nowhere else on the planet is that more clear. Like Mumbai has the world's most expensive real estate. There are more millionaires in Mumbai than any other city on the planet, and yet there are more homeless people in Mumbai than probably anywhere else on the planet
Yeah.
too. So you've got these huge social differences, and it's tough to be there. It's really hard to be there, but it's an important life lesson to go to a place like India generally, really, and many other parts of the developing world. But in Mumbai, nowhere else is it more clear than in Mumbai, and it's an inspiring place. It makes you be a better person.
And I think we've got that in that comes across in the book, because the age that Kayla is going, early 20s, probably similar to the age that I was when I went for the first time. I don't know how old you were when you went for the first time, but it's that sort of experience. It's fish out of water, straight in,
Really.
Yeah, it's
good
really,
stuff.
really cool. Really, really cool. Right, let's get things wrapped up. We'll just give you a reminder of the reason that we're here, and tell you how to enter this competition one more time, and then we'll be on our way and leave you to your evenings. This is our new book, Set Him Free. It's the introduction novella to our Kayla Stone vigilante thriller series. We're both really, really proud of it. You can get it for free now for a very, very limited time. If you haven't already, download it for yourself on the link that's just appeared on the screen. And if you're wanting to win one of the postcards that I have here, or one of the mugs that I'm drinking from here, look at this. All you need to do is share the link that's on the screen. You can share it with someone you know that might like this via WhatsApp or text message or something. You can post it on a Facebook group. You can post it on your timeline or your Instagram story or whatever, and then tell me or Steve that you've done that, and we're going to do a draw in a couple of days, and we'll contact the winners and get their mailing addresses and all that sort of thing.
Yeah, awesome. And just as a reminder, we'd like you to consider this, if you could, an advanced reader copy. And as we mentioned earlier, reviews are so important to you guys as readers, but also to us as the writers. So if you like the story, please pop over to Amazon, Book Bubble, Goodreads, and leave us a review. Just your honest thoughts, because it will help others find the story, and it will help us reach more new readers. So we'd appreciate every review. Honest thoughts, please.
Absolutely. Right, Steve, it's been amazing to catch up. Let's have these conversations regularly and keep in touch. In fact, we'll do another one when we release the first book, and perhaps share some excerpts from that that's only sort of 6 weeks time, isn't it, or a month? It's just over a month.
I guarantee it'll be ready.
Brilliant. Thank you so much for tuning in. It's been amazing to have this time with you. Make sure you're downloading that as soon as possible, and I'll see you next Wednesday.
Cheers, guys.
Cheers very much. Thanks. Bye.